This is Father Andrew Ritchie, and you're listening to Catholic Inspiration, a podcast from my website at studyprayserve.com. These homilies, presentations, and retreats form part of my ministry as a Catholic priest for the Diocese of Superior. And now I invite you to open your hearts to some Catholic inspiration. Today is Friday after Ash Wednesday. Our Gospel reading, Matthew chapter 9, verses 14 and 15. The disciples of John approached Jesus and said, "Why do we and the Pharisees fast much, but your disciples do not fast?" Jesus answered them, "Can the wedding guests mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them? The days will come when the bridegroom is taken away from them, and then they will fast." All right, so here right out of the gate, we talk about fasting. Now, we heard about this on Ash Wednesday. It was part of the Sermon on the Mount, chapter 6 of Matthew's Gospel, where fasting is part of the ancient spiritual tool belt that we use. Almsgiving, prayer, fasting. Here we have fasting. Now get this. Jesus makes it very clear. Fasting is part of our spiritual life. He makes it clear that while he's with his disciples, they don't need to fast, but there will come a day when he will be gone. We practice fasting, the discipline of abstaining from usually food, but abstaining from it, so that in the discipline, saying, I will not eat for a certain block of time. I will not allow this food to pass my lips. I'm going to feel hunger. I'm going to go without. Why? So that in disciplining my body, I understand the connection to the soul and I discipline my spiritual life. Now we're going to get a taste of this. For remember, we have here in the first reading taken from Isaiah chapter 58, a very clear notion where the Lord is speaking to the people saying, you're fasting the wrong way. You're doing all of these fasts, but they're for your own pursuits. And about halfway through this first reading, you get this. This rather is the fasting that I wish, releasing those bound unjustly, untying the thongs of the yoke, setting free the oppressed, breaking every yoke, sharing your bread with the hungry, sheltering the oppressed and the homeless, clothing the naked when you see them, not turning your back on your own. These are corporal works of mercy. This is social justice. This is serving other people, especially those on the margin, those who are hungry, those who are homeless, those who are naked, that those who are oppressed through our service find newness of life. Now think about what that means. Here Isaiah makes it clear that we're called to serve one another, help one another, share with one another, give alms, but by the gift of our lives, be a gift to others. By the blessing of our lives, be a blessing to others. So put these two together. Put fasting, this spiritual discipline, an interior disposition where we discipline our bodies and we discipline our souls. And now go do something that helps those who are on the margin of life. Go do something that alleviates human suffering, that raises up human dignity, that helps someone who is hurting, make it better, and tie it to fasting. So you have this interior disposition. You can go a whole day and no one knows if you're fasting or not, but now go serve others. And here's why this is key. If people are fasting to lose weight, then it's not a spiritual discipline. But if people are fasting because they're praying for the needs of another or mindful of the sufferings of another or doing something to help another, now their interior discipline has an outward direction. And that, my friends, is a very vibrant, fruitful spiritual combination. Remember, go back to Ash Wednesday. Almsgiving, prayer, fasting. Start putting at least two of these together and you have real power. If we're fasting and we're praying, that's power. If we're praying and almsgiving, that's power. If there is fasting and almsgiving, that's power. that when we put two or more of these together, we energize our spiritual life. Why? Because we are calling upon God, practicing an interior discipline, outwardly focused towards the needs of others that are real and practical and necessary. It's Friday, the first Friday that we have in the season of Lent. And we're going to hear about fasting. That's no surprise. We're called to fast. And friends, I'd like to just have you reflect for a moment upon what you might want to fast for during this season of Lent. Maybe you abstain from food for a period of time. Maybe you miss a meal. And during that time you say, instead of eating, I'm going to pray. Or you say, you know what, I'm going to go do something for a neighbor or a family member or a friend, but I'm going to do an act of service. And I'm going to allow that feeling of hunger. Chances are it's not going to kill me, but rather it's going to energize me. See, for many of us, food is way too easy to come by. That means then that when we fast, when we abstain from food, now we're saying, I'm going to discipline my body, and in doing so, open my heart, either through my prayer or through my service, as the case might be today in light of Isaiah's reading. I'm going to serve others, care for others, give alms to help others. I want to do something. And as I do it, fasting, Lord, I do it for you. As I discipline my body, Lord, in fasting, help me to discipline my soul through my service toward others. This is a powerful way to live. And friends, I invite us to reflect on how we might want to integrate fasting into our daily life. It's a powerful spiritual practice. Now, again, if it's for selfish reasons, I want to drop a little weight, it's not going to help our souls. But if we fast and pray, or fast and serve others, God will be working in us, through us, and around us, supercharging our Lent and inspiring us to live for the Lord. God bless you all. This is Father Andrew, and I hope this podcast inspires your faith. Now, if you found it helpful, please share it with a friend, and you can help me by leaving a rating and a review. I keep all my listeners in my daily prayers, and I ask for your prayers in return. God bless you, my friends.